Welcome to the start of a new series called It Millennium Falcon. This is going to be a series where I take a variety of LEGO sets and see if and how they can be rebuilt into the infamous Millennium Falcon. To kick off episode 1, we have a quaint little set. This is the Mandalorian and Grogu's speeder bike, released from the January wave of this year, 2026, retailing for $10 US, and it is not really well received. For starters, Mando can't even hold on to the handles on his speeder, which is kind of bleh. Also, we got somewhat better iterations in the Trouble on Tatooine set. And if you have seen the new pictures of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie sets, this is now outdated. They have a beautiful new mold for the body of Grogu, or Baby Yoda. I still love calling him Baby Yoda. They have a new mold for his torso, which just looks absolutely beautiful, which sort of just makes this one a little wonky. But anyway, we are not here to talk about the yes or no, do, don't of the set. We are here to see if the speeder bike can be converted into some form of the Millennium Falcon, which means we have to destroy this. I have punched it, destroyed. Now, the Millennium Falcon is sort of that weird flying saucer shape, and the parts that we have here in this speeder bike are probably not the best for trying to recreate that shape. I mean, we can do something with these parts to sort of get the roundedness, maybe? I do kind of like that, actually. This piece right here, this classic horse carriage pulling thing, is going to be the hardest to figure out anything to do with, but we are going to try our best to incorporate it. If not, it will be a spare, but we'll see what we can do. So I think we're getting somewhere on a pretty decent shape here. I ended up using those rounded bits to sort of create the mandibles on the front here. And then I connected them with the bar in the middle, used that 1x2 modified plate with clip to attach this 2x8 plate. Sorry, 2x6 plate. So the shape is coming together. I just worry with what the pieces we have left, what more we can do to it, because we already used a lot of big pieces. So it doesn't look the prettiest, but we are gaining some progress. I'm more just experimenting with shapes and connections here to try and fill out the shape of the Falcon. It sort of has the right shape. The little side bit for the cockpit definitely helps with getting that shape across, but we're getting somewhere. I don't think this will look too much like the final product, but it's good enough to the point where I'm happy with the progress that's being made. And voila! this is what I could come up with for turning the Mandalorian and Grogu's speeder bike into the Millennium Falcon. It is definitely very hard with the parts included. You do have a good amount of extras, including the little Grogu carrying thing and the extra pistol. Those don't matter, because this I am actually very proud of. It came together well, it came together quick, and it is something I can be proud to call mine. I sort of use the same technique here with these modified studs with the extended bar to create these 2 points of articulation. The main reason to use that is for this radar dish here, so you can sort of have it in like the optimal Millennium Falcon position with 2 points of articulation there. And then I also use that same technique for the cockpit area. So if you want it sort of fully right angle aligned, you can sort of have that. If you want to lean it back a little bit, you can also have that. Or if you want something like that, you can go for it. These little wedge pieces in the back, they're not held on fully, but that's what I could do to sort of get the shaping there. For the small number of pieces, I think that's pretty good. I think that turned out pretty okay. I am decently proud of that build. The next setup here is, slammed it down, is the Lego Star Wars Plo Koon's Microfighter Jedi Starfighter. I said that backwards. This was released in mid to late 2025, if I'm pretty sure, which I'm pretty sure I am. And it came with a brand new and updated Jedi Master Plo Koon. He is looking really good. And he's got the new molded headpiece, which, unlike the old one, which was solid rubber, this one is solid plastic. And just looks a lot nicer in my opinion. I really enjoy it. But again, we are not here to criticize. We are here to see if this can become a Millennium Falcon. Drop the hammer. It has been broken. And now starts the exciting process of trying to build. Immediately being drawn to these two wedge plates here, which would make good mandibles, although they stick out quite a bit on the sides. So maybe I'll stick with these guys for the forward mandibles, because I don't know, these guys just might stick out a bit much for my liking, but we'll see. We'll see where this goes. So I have appeared to come up with a decent way to represent the main engine using the lightsaber bar pieces and some other Technic connector pieces and pins with holes, and just connecting it all together, lining it all up to look at the back. Now we're doing the front section. For now, I'm going to keep the big parts as mandibles, because I don't really know what else or where else I could use them. So we're going to see what we can do with this, because I'm sort of liking how this is feeling. I am actually very much liking where this is going. We have the nice basic shape coming together, and I'm just gonna keep piling on pieces, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and I definitely think we're getting somewhere good. Okay, so I think I found a good idea to give it some more volume than being a little flat thing. And I just raised up the center, put some hinges in there, and then took slight inspiration from most of the Playscale Lego Millennium Falcons and made little panels that just close down and give it sort of that rounded shape. This one on this side is on its own, because the last panel on this side I'm going to try to incorporate the cockpit connection, in which I have something going here for a good cockpit. And then the other two panels I did connect on the other side, so it's just basically one big panel. But yeah, that's where we're at, and I am liking how this is turning out a lot. Okay, so we are at a point where I am happy with how it's turning out. I am just going to do the rest of the building off camera just to try to cut down on time, and because frankly I have no idea how long the rest of this is going to take. So I will just do transition. You will see this when it is done. And there we go. There is the completed Millennium Falcon, built from the Koon's Microfighter. It is very open in the back because it didn't really have too many pieces to really work with there. I mean, I guess I could technically put this clip in. Something like that, just have it like up like that almost. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it had a lot more pieces than the Mandalorian's speeder bike one, but the parts that I had to work with were a lot trickier, since I had to use the parts for one thing and there wasn't like any other part to use for that other thing. Or like specifically, there wasn't any good part in here in the Microfighter to use for the radar dish like there was in the speeder bike. So I had to opt for sort of the sequel trilogy's rectangular radar dish as opposed to the circular from the speeder bike. Also, the radar dish and the cockpit sort of use illegal techniques. I'm not really sure if it's considered illegal or not. I know like some form of this technique is not illegal, but it's just the plate, or I guess that's a tile technically. It's just wedged between the studs of that plate. The cockpit is sort of the same deal. You can flip that side up. You have this assembly here with a jumper plate or tile sticking out. You just connect that between those two studs in there, and then you just flip that little section down, and there you go. It looks good from the front. I will say the cockpit does look a little high set, but for what it's worth, it doesn't look half bad. It is also a little squarish at the back, but didn't really do too bad. They're both those from the back view, they're sort of top views. Your side bits, your front face coming at you. I think both of these I did a pretty good job on. And that concludes the first episode of Will It Millennium Falcon. That is a pretty solid yes for the Mandalorian and Grogu speeder bike. And a pretty somewhat decently good yes for the Koon Microfighter. Obviously, both you can build your own way, you can interpret it your own way and whatnot. That's the whole beauty with Lego. That is also going to be the reason for these smaller sets I will not be doing any instructions for these builds, since, well, A, you can probably decipher them pretty easily from the video, but also just they're super small. I don't expect anyone to want to build them anyway. I was just seeing if and how they can be turned into this specific ship. When I do some bigger sets and make like more detailed and more carefully made models, then yeah, I'll provide instructions for those. But for these guys, just as is, just soak them up and enjoy them. But yeah, I will see you on the next episode of It Millennium Falcon. Until then, have a good one.